ServiceNow X Factor. In this video, we are going to extend the pattern and try to gather additional information about the application. So stay tuned till the end. We will be using the delimited text parsing method for extending the pattern using the extension section of the pattern to gather more information. If you are preparing for your interview or certifications, you can go to examhelpdesk.com. The link to the website will be given in the description below. Different IT related topics like AWS, Cisco, CompTIA, Salesforce, ServiceNow, Microsoft give mock examinations for your interviews and certifications to see how well you are prepared for certification exams. You also have the option to download the complete list of Q&A. If you feel unprepared, you can click on the link and get your own complete set of list of questions and answers. Happy learning! So after running a service mapping discovery in the previous video, we have seen that besides the map itself, there are many other results to view and possibly work from. The service mapping homepage gives that initial guidance to service candidates services that need fixing, services that are still looking for approval, and ones that have been completed and are operational. So first, let us navigate to service mapping homepage and see what I'm talking about. So in the application navigator, let's type service mapping and we will go to the home page. So here you can see that there is one service that is being shown as needs approval. After the service has been discovered through service mapping process, it goes for approval. Unless and until it has been approved, it will not be sent to CMDB. So this is the reason in the home page we see that one approval is pending. Whoever is the approver, he can go and approve. Because we are here as a system administrator, so it is showing me like this and asking me to approve your services. Otherwise this will be approve your services will be shown to the actual approval. Other than that, from the home page, after discovering the service, you can come and check for the candidates, fix if there are any fix needed. It will be shown here and it will ask to fix your services. And once the approval is done, the completed service map will be shown here. So all this information you can come and see from the service mapping homepage. In last video, we have only seen the application view. Let us also see the host view. So we will click on the additional action button and we will check on this display in host view. It is showing that this particular server is hosted by item srv map email, and the details, when you click on this, you can see the server details here. We have also talked about discovery log. To give you a brief recap, this is the discovery log for the application that we have just discovered using the service mapping. And you see that all these discovery patterns have run, and when this particular application was a match with the discovery pattern Apache on Windows, it was classified as such. So when service mapping is running, it checks with each and every discovery patterns to see which is a perfect match for the discovered service application. Let's talk about service mapping lifecycle now. Service mapping lifecycle flow starts with phase 0, where we start the activities by providing the entry point and everything, and then we start mapping. Where appropriate, we have to fix the errors if there are any errors that we are working with, and when all the errors are fixed, then it goes for review and finally for approval. So personas that are involved in service mapping are service mapping admin, that is service underscore mapping underscore admin. This persona is involved in mapping, fixing, and maintaining the services. The service mapping admin works with the customer resources to resolve bulk errors like errors regarding credentials, connectivity, firewalls, if there is more mid server needs to be installed, to answer this kind of questions. And it performs advanced configurations. It interacts with the application owner until map is approved and complete. The other persona that is involved in service mapping is application owner. Application owner, that is SM underscore app underscore owner, has responsibilities of reviews, approves, and owns the services. The good and common practices to help streamline the process with the app owner includes making sure that the representative app owners are engaged from the project start, and to make sure that the representatives of the app owner are in attendance in engagement workshops every time. So as we know that the admin is responsible for fixing the errors, so once everything is fixed, the service mapping admin is going to submit the services for the review to the app owner, who is responsible for the reviewing and the approval of the services. So the app owner is going to either approve, in which case the service will be active and deployed to the production and made available on various dashboards. If in case the app owner rejects the service map, saying it's incomplete or inaccurate, and give not just a simple rejection but feedback to the admin of the reasons for that rejection, that should hopefully give the admin some guidance as to what path to follow to correct and improve the service, fix the issues that have been raised by the app owner, and again submit the service for the review and approval. Once the map has been approved by the app owner, the process status of the services that has been discovered will change to approved. In the event management dashboard, the services will appear now, and service status that was showing non-operational when we were trying to discover the service using the service mapping will now change to operational state. So service status will change to operational. As we have already discussed in our discovery application patterns, that extension section will add the steps to the pattern without changing the baseline identification sections, whereas the connection sections will create those outgoing connections to the next tier. If you want more information about identification section, extension section, connection section, you can refer to the video of application discovery pattern that has been given in the description below. Let's move on with today's practical. When we are looking at the application, you can see there are different fields about the application. We have version available, but we do not have any app version, that is app release version. So we will add an extension section to get the app release version information here. This is what is our requirement. The application that we have discovered is supported by Apache Server Windows. So Apache Server Windows is where we will add more steps to the extension section to gather additional information. Let's go to CI class manager. Click on hierarchy, search for Apache Web Server, select attribute under class info, click on add it, insert new row, type app release version, column name, it comes automatically, string is the type, perfect, maximum length 40, fine, mandatory false, display false, okay. Now we will save this. So we have added one more column label. We need this information. So because we need this information about the CI type, so we are adding it here, and in the pattern we will write the pattern in the extension section to gather the information for this particular row that we have just created in the CI class. So save it. Perfect. Now let us navigate to discovery pattern to gather the information. Discovery pattern under pattern designer, search for Apache on Windows. This is the one that we have been working with all this time. So here in the extension section we will write a new section to gather information. So let's type app release version, click on done. Now click on the app release version. First we will change the name here and write collect app release version. Perfect. Okay. Now we will need debug mode to be on. So what I have done, I have just clicked on debug mode. You can see select mid server is already there, debug mode type top down, select entry point HTTPS endpoint. In the URL http /192.60. Now let us click on connect. Perfect. So debug is in process. So when debug mode is on, you can see a green button here. It is always recommended when you are modifying or creating identification section, extension section, connection section, you should use the debug mode. Let us select the operation, which is parse file. Now we need information from the file. Which file? So now we will browse to the file from where we need the information. So we need information from Apache, configuration, and then we need configuration text. So this information will be given to you. What is your file content, so that you can retrieve the data from that file content. So after successfully browsing the file, we will just retrieve the file content. So this has been retrieved. Okay, perfect. This has been retrieved. Now as you can see, I said we will be doing delimited parsing text in this particular demonstration. So here you can see there are a lot of parsing strategies that can be defined. Regular expression is one of those, which we will do in the next video. In this video by default it has taken delimited text. We will continue with this one, and now we will see what does it mean by delimited text, how we can use it. So here in delimited text you have two options, include lines and exclude lines. This means whatever you will write here will be, so whichever line will include this particular text that you have written in the include line section will appear in your output. This is what it means by writing the include lines using delimited parsing strategy. So whatever I have written here, if I will press enter, the output will contain only the lines that has this particular text written. So after enter we can see the output only contains one line, because only this line has the text that we have written in the include line. So we wanted to see app release version, and this is what we are getting here. This is how we use delimited parsing strategy. From the variable section, now since we have the output that we need to extract from this particular file to be shown in the information, so we will just add this output in a variable which will be given a name. Suppose it will be given a name u underscore app underscore release version. So this is going to be my variable. The most important thing here is the variable that you've created should match the name of the variable we have just created in the CI class manager table. So this name should match the name which was here. So let's go to the CI class manager to double check that we have written the correct name in the variable, because this needs to be in sync. Apache web server, here we had created under attributes the new column and app release version, and the name of the app release version, the column name is u underscore app release version. If you want, you can just copy this so that we do not have any spelling error or so, and just copy it and again paste it here. Yes, I want to delete this and I want the name to be copy pasted like this. So this is how we make sure that this particular variable name is equal to the column name that has been automatically created when we were creating the column label for the information that we want to extract using this particular extension section of the pattern. Now we will configure the delimiter section. So we will click on this pencil icon under the delimiter, okay, and we will just add a space, press on the plus button. This is created. What is this saying? This delimiter that we are setting is after space, whatever value is given, I need that as an output in the variable that I have just created. So in the variable that I have just created, this is the output, and I want only the text that has been written after the space. So here you can see there is no space. Here after colon there is space. So the final output that should come, because I've said after space whatever comes will be my output under this variable. So 2.0, after the space 2.0 is the only output that we can see here. So this will come as the value for the variable that we have just created. So I hope you can understand that space means we are talking about this space. There is only one space in this output that we can see. So after space, whatever is the value will be the value for the variable. So click on done. Now we will have to set the position. So after space, the second position, 1, 2. This is my answer. So to add meaning to what I'm just saying, click on test. So why do we need debug mode? We need debug mode so that we can test each and every step. So we will test, and this testing only happens when we are in the debug mode. So when you have started to create a step, you should start your debug mode so that you can test each and every step that you are creating in a pattern. And in this way you will know for the expected variable, are you getting the expected result by giving the delimiter and the position. See, here we can see that we are not getting the value that we want. Now we have to see why. So in the delimiter, first we will give a space and then we will click on add, because we wanted to add a space. Because I did not give a space here, it did not take that space criteria that I wanted to set for the delimiter. So I hope you followed what mistake has been done. And now we will click on done, and position is 2. Let's test it again, and this time I'm hoping this is going to be successful one. Yes, perfect. So now for this particular variable, this is the value that you're getting. So I'm happy that we got an error and I could fix it in front of you so that you can see what kind of error you might get and how you can fix it when you are using this delimited parsing strategy to extend your patterns. So this is the expected output that I want, that for my app release version variable I get the value 2.0. This is how you do. Close. Okay, you have to note that it is always best not to use the hard code file path when you are creating pattern sections. Tell you what I mean and what we can do to change it. For this reason, we will just modify this file that we have just used to make it into a dynamic install directory for future use. So to make it dynamic, keep this under the quotes, and here we will just add, just give $install underscore directory plus and then this. So this will make sure that you're not hard coding the file type, so that your select file is dynamic in nature for future use. So we will keep it like this. Now we will save this. One thing that you need to note is, again, we start when we are making change into the select file option to make it dynamic, we start with a $sign. Earlier it started with the quote, ended with the quote, because it was hard coded file that we searched for. When you have to make it dynamic, you have to use a $sign in front of this, at the end plus, that will come automatically. Let us test once more. So once again, we have enabled debug mode in the starting of creating this step. This is to ensure that we can test every step as and when we create it. So this is the reason why we use the debug mode. So let's see, we should get the same result now. Yes, perfect. So moving on, now we will add a step comment for this particular variable. Comment will be like collect and store app release for deployed Apache server. Okay, so now we will post. So comment has been posted. Perfect. Giving comment is a very good way and a recommended way when you are adding a step, so that people can understand, the other developers can also understand what is this step intending to do. So now everything is done. Let us save. So extension is successfully saved. Let's go back. So here we can see the extension that we have just created is showing here. So now we will run discovery again to get the application release version displayed here in the properties of the application. So let's go to discovery schedule, new. So here discovery by, we have chosen service attribute, and filter the service that you want to discover. Here I am choosing calculated application service. Then we will go to tag based application service. And what do we want? We need version of the application, so we will select on version. So it is calculated application service, tag based application service, version is anything. So this is what we want. This is our filter condition for which we will run the discovery. After running the discovery, you can see this discovery status. You need to refresh. Once the discovery status will show completed, so after this, when we will go to view the map for the service mapping for the Fred scanning services that we have just discovered using the service mapping, we should be able to see app release version in the properties. So this was the final goal of creating the extension section, so that we can gather additional information related to app release version that should be shown in the properties of the discovered service. So this will take some time. You will keep refreshing until the state shows completed, and then we will go and check and see if the map is being able to reflect the value of the app release version. Here you can see the state is showing completed. So since the state is showing completed, now we can go and check the results. So here in the map, finally, after discovery, we will click on the application and we will look for the property of app release version. So congratulations, we can now successfully see that the app release version 2.0 property is being displayed here, and this particular property we have gathered this information as an additional information by creating the extension section in the pattern. So further, you can also test this same knowledge by trying to gather more information about, suppose, city location, and see if the same is being displayed here. Also, if you right click on this application and just click on the application, go to the discovery log, click on this plus icon under Apache, you can see for this particular pattern identification was a match, and then it has run the extension section for Apache on Windows extension that we have just created, and then it has finally created the CI. So this is how we extend the extension section in the pattern to gather additional information. This is all about this video. We will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.